Okay. Hello, all you people. Hello, YouTube. This is my first time setting up for Google Hangouts because I'm setting up this Saturday, hey, to celebrate 500 subscribers. And to do that, this is my first time doing it. And so Douglas Rosie Fan 10 will be joining me shortly because this is a little test we're doing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and invite him. And so oh hey Callum, what's up? Let's see. So I just need to invite. Yeah, I know I'm not doing much right now. It's just that how I know this is my first time doing it, so don't expect much. This is just an. Oh, hello, Jonathan. How are you? Yeah, I'm doing a test right now for my live stream this Saturday. This is my first time doing it, so it's my first time going live. I mean, I've hosted people. Yeah, that's good. And oh, by the way, congratulations for the 500 for the views you got. So well, so yeah, so hope- you're quite welcome, Jonathan. And trying to see if Douglas Rosie fan can join because he will be helping me he will be doing a test. So, yeah, I know this isn't yeah, I know this isn't really much now, but as I said, this is a test. Um, thanks, Douglas Rosie. I'll send you an invite. Okay, Douglas Rosie fan, so I just sent you the email, so you should be here shortly. So how's everyone doing today, or tonight, or whatever, or whenever your country time is? It's currently 10:07 a.m. in my country, so in my time, so of course you can be part of the live stream. I'll be doing it at 11 a.m. This Saturday, so hopefully you can find an availability that time. So yeah, of course you can join. It's 107 right now. Oh wow, so I'm like, I don't know, like 9 hours ahead of you or something, or uh, well, while I wait for Douglas Rosie, I'm gonna be reading Fire Engine um, for the Railway series. From this book I got at Goodwill a few years ago, so Flying Scotsman and my brothers were all green, explained Gordon one night in the shed. It was all very well in its way, but I prefer my blue. It makes me different, you see, and that's very suitable for an important engine like me. The engines on our old line used to be blue, remembered Donald, but none said duck as we are. Dougie and me never were dull. We had to be black, so blue makes a nice change. I like my green too, agreed Henry. I'd hate to be red like James. People would think I was a fire engine. At least people can see me coming, retorted James. I don't disappear in the background like some engines I could mention. If it wasn't for the noise, you'd need a yellow and black front like Mavis. Henry's protests were drowned in the laughter of the other engines, and he went to sleep wondering how to pay James back. Henry was still cross the next morning. What can be wrong? What can be wrong? Wondered the coaches anxiously as Henry pulled noisily away from the big station. Do come along, Henry snorted impatiently. They had a fast run, but it didn't improve Henry's temper. He bumped the coaches when they reached the end of the line, and again he backed up to them for the return journey. He simmered angrily while the firemen fastened the coupling. No one noticed the rattle between Henry's footplate as he snorted away. Soon the train was running well. Hurry, 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 puffed Henry. Faster and faster they went. At last Henry began to feel better. Suddenly he heard a crack from below his cab. Look out! Shouted the driver. He applied the brakes while the fireman scrambled forward to the footplate. He was just in time. Both men watched in horror as a widening gap opened between Henry and his tender. Henry stopped as soon as he could. The automatic brake halted his tender, and the train started some distance behind. We must drop Henry's fire, said Henry, the driver urgently. It will be dangerous to let him boil that we can't more water from the tender. Oh, you can't see the invite? Let me try again. Gmail. Okay, Douglas Rosie, try again. The fireman agreed. Sorry, old boy, he said to Henry. Just when we were going so nicely too. But if you hadn't banged so much, you wouldn't have broken your tender coupling. While the fireman dealt with the fire, the driver went back to tell the signalman what had happened. When he returned, he found Henry completely hidden in a huge cloud of black smoke which billowed from beneath his cab. The fireman emerged choking. Henry's fire set the sleepers all alight, he spluttered. You stay here. I'm going to phone the fire brigade. The driver eased Henry to clear the blaze, and then Edward came to take his train to the next station. Henry felt most uncomfortable. Workmen made Henry a temporary coupling, then rejoined him to his tender, and then the driver and fireman lit a new fire and drove him gently home. Edward, who had of course seen everything, told the others they were careful what they had talked about last night. As for Henry, he was touching on the subject of fires for some time afterward, but James was quick to notice that from then on, Henry stopped making rude remarks about the color of fire engines. Now I will read the sad story of Henry. Once an engine attached to a train was afraid of a few drops of rain. It went into a tunnel and squeaked to its funnel. Yeah, I tried typing it in. Like like when I typed in your email, it had your YouTube channel name, so I will try one more time. Okay, Douglas Rosie, try now. It went into a tunnel and squeaked through its funnel and never came out again. The engine's name is Henry. His driver and fireman argued with him, but he would not move. The rain will spoil my lovely green paint and red stripes, he said. The guard blew his whistle till he had no more breath, and waved his arms until his arms ached, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel and blew steam at him. I am not going to spoil my lovely green paint and red stripes for you, he said rudely. The passengers came and argued too, but Henry would not move. Sir Topham Hatt, who was on the train, told the guard to get a rope. We will pull you out, he said, but Henry only blew steam at him and made him wet. They hooked the rope on and all pulled, except for Sir Topham Hatt. My doctor has forbidden me to pull, he said. They pulled and pulled and pulled, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel. Then they tried pushing from the other end. Sir Topham Hatt said, 1, 2, 3, push! But he did not help. My doctor has forbidden me to push, he said. They pushed and pushed and pushed, but Henry still stayed in the tunnel. At last, another train came. The guard waved his red flag and stopped it. The two engine drivers, the two firemen, and the two guards argued with Henry. Look, it has stopped raining, they said. Yes, but it will begin again soon, said Henry. And what would become of my green paints and red stripes then? So they brought the other engine up and pushed it and it pushed and puffed and puffed as hard as it could. But Henry still stayed in the tunnel. So they gave up. They told Henry, we shall leave you there for always and always and always. They took up the old rails, built a wall in front of him, and cut a new tunnel. Now Henry can't get out. He watches the trains rushing through the new tunnel. He is very sad because no one will ever see his lovely green paint and red trucks again. But I think he deserved it, don't you? Oh, hi, Taylor. How you doing? This is a little test for my live stream. for this Saturday. So I'm just doing a little test, setting it up. So on Saturday I will be ready. And now Edward, Gordon, and Henry. Edward and Gordon often went through the tunnel where Henry was shut up. Huh. Oh, sure. Everyone, and please subscribe to my good friend Thunderbirds fan 2065. Sadly he doesn't have as many subscribers, and he could sure need it. In fact, he has kindly volunteered to work on my The Adventure Begins redubs, so he will be editing it. Thanks a lot. Hey Vadim, what's up? It's a little test. Edward would say, peep peep, hello. And Gordon would say, poop poop serves you right. Poop 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 serves you right. Oh, glad to hear it, Taylor. Poor Henry had no steam to answer. His fire had gone out. Soot and dirt from the tunnel roof had spoiled his lovely green paint and red stripes. He was cold and unhappy, and wanted to come out and pull trains too. Gordon always pulled the express. He was proud of being the only engine strong enough to do it. There were so many heavy coaches full of important people, like Sir Topham Hatt, who had punished Henry. Gordon was seeing how fast he could go. Hurry, 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 he panted. Trickety-trock, 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 said the coaches. Gordon could see Henry's funnel. In a minute, he thought, I'll poop, poop, poop at Henry, and rushed through and open again. Closer and closer he came. He was never there. When crack, wheesh! He was in a cloud of steam going slower and slower. It still doesn't work. I don't know what the problem is, but sure, I'll try one more time. If not, I'm not sure what else to do, so let me try one more time. Okay, Douglas, so we're going to try one more time. His driver stopped the train. What has happened to me? Asked Gordon. I feel so weak. You've burst your safety valve, said the driver. You can't pull the train anymore. Oh dear, said Gordon. We were going so nicely too. Look at Henry laughing at me. Gordon made a face at Henry and blew smoke at him. Every engine came out to see. Hey, Gordon. Humph, said Sir Topham Hatt. I never liked these big engines. It's always going wrong. Send for another engine at once. While the guard went to find one, the driver and fireman uncoupled Gordon, ran him onto a siding out of the way. The only engine left in the shed was Edward. I'll come and try, he said. Gordon saw him coming. That's no use, he said. Edward can't pull the train. Edward puffed and pulled, but he couldn't move the heavy coaches. I told you so, said Gordon brutally. Why not let Henry try? Yes, said Sir Topham Hatt. I will. Will you help pull this train, Henry? He asked. Yes, said Henry at once. So Gordon's driver and fireman lit his fire, some plate lakers broke down the wall and put back the rails, and when he had steam, Henry puffed out. He was dirty and his boiler was black, and he was covered with cobwebs. Ooh, I'm so stiff. Ooh, I'm so stiff, he groaned. You'd better have a run to ease your joints and find a turntable, said Sir Topham Hatt kindly. Henry came back feeling better, and they put him up front. Peep, peep, said Edward. I'm ready. Peep, 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 said Henry. So am I. Pull hard, pull hard, pull hard, puffed Henry. We'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it, puffed Henry. Pull hard, we'll do it, pull hard, we'll do it, Pull harder will do it, they puffed together. The heavy coaches jerked and began to move slowly, first and faster. We've done it together, we've done it together, we've done it together, said Edward and Henry. You've done it, hooray! You've done it, hooray! Hey, you've done it, hooray! Sang the coaches. All the passengers were excited. Sir Topham Hatt leaned out the window, Henry, to wave at Edward and Henry, but the train was going so fast his hat blew off and into a foot where a goat ate it for a snack. They never stopped until they came to the big station at the end of the line. All of the passengers got out and said, "Thank you," and Sir Topham Hatt promised Henry a new coat of paint. "Would you like to be blue and red?" "Yes, please," said Henry. "Then I'll be like Edward." Edward and Henry went home quietly, and on their way they helped going back to the shed. All three engines are good friends. Wasn't Henry pleased when he got out, when he had his new coat of paint? He is very proud of it, and as all good engines are, but he doesn't mind the rain now because he knows that the best way to keep his paint nice is not to hide in tunnels, but to ask his driver to rub him down when the day's work is over. Okay, so I'm gonna need to stop the broadcast right now. Thank you guys for watching this test broadcast, and for those who are joining me this Saturday, I'm looking forward to hosting this as a celebration. So yeah, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys later.